Welcome back to my video series on lessons I learned from moving and how you can use them to make a more fun and profitable business. Today we're getting to my favorite part of the series, how to deal with a day that is screwed and cannot be unscrewed. Now this was shortly after the incident I described in a previous video. I'd just gotten my U-Haul full of stuff over to the new house. I'd gotten stuck, had to flag down a random person for help to back up the trailer to get me unstuck. We finally got the trailer unloaded and got the U-Haul unloaded. I was on my way back to our old house to pick up Mom, who had sent her cell phone with me in case I got stuck on the road. And so she was there at our old house with no cell phone and no internet because we cut off service because we were no longer living there. This would become a problem later. So I thought I was fine to get back to her. Turns out I was wrong. It was late. It was the end of several days of going 10 hours a day, pretty much nothing but physical labor, putting things in boxes, moving boxes, unpacking boxes, so many boxes. I was exhausted. The lights on the highway, my brain was starting to interpret them in weird ways. Oh, what's that constant light of lights? What's that kitchen appliance I'm looking at? Steph, that's oncoming traffic. I was not roadworthy, and I was just begging the next sign to come. Okay, number 10 highway, just tell me I'm almost back at Brandon. I can pick up Mom, I can be done driving, I can stop being a danger to myself and everyone on the road. Okay, finally. There's a sign saying where I am. It's 116 kilometers to Winnipeg? I'd had this sheet full of instructions. Turn right here, turn left here, turn right here. I'd been trying to reverse them as I came back from the new house, but apparently I'd followed the instructions to the letter when I was supposed to reverse them, wound up turning left when I should have turned right, and wound up going east when I was supposed to go west for almost an hour. So there I am, freaking out. At least my fear had jolted me awake, but I'm thinking, oh no, this can't be happening. I needed to be done driving an hour ago, and now I've got probably another hour to get back there. And then I looked at the gas gauge, and my stomach plunged. It was almost empty. There I was, on an unfamiliar highway in the middle of a rural area at an hour when pretty much everything was closed, in a big truck with a trailer to haul, and I was almost out of gas. So there I was, driving down the highway. I see a row of lights, a long vertical bar, horizontal bar of lights like you usually see above a gas station. Oh, thank goodness. It was a row of silos. And then I see another row of horizontal lights. Oh, thank goodness. It was another row of silos. I began to hate the sight of silos. Finally, one of those rows of lights was what I needed it to be. It was a gas station. Thank goodness. I pulled into their parking lot just as the notification began to ding. Hey, dumbass, you're almost out of gas. I pulled up to the pump and I read those three little words. Fuel pump locked. Are you kidding me? At that point, there was not much left for me to do except for drive the U-Haul into the area where the semis park overnight, go up to the gas station, look at it. Okay, when's this thing gonna open so I can finally fuel up? 7. It was 1:50 in the morning. I was behind schedule. Mom was probably wondering where I was. I had to, as far as I remembered, had to return the U-Haul at 5:30 in the morning to avoid incurring late fees and messing up somebody else's moving day. And there I was, stranded at a gas station that would open at 7 a.m. So I walked out of the U-Haul in the chill of night, trying to find a sign to at least tell me whereabouts I was. Finally find a sign saying, okay, I'm at this junction. Gonna call roadside assistance. Okay, you can bring me some gas. Great. Okay, you can charge me $300 to bring me 3 gallons of gas? There's this thing called Canada. You may have heard of it. You're working in it right now. It's a place where you can go a long-ass time between gas stations. Oh, and P.S., gas stations are closed at this hour. So literally all you're offering is to charge me $300 so I can drive away from the gas station and get stranded again somewhere worse. No thanks. Or at least they were going to offer that until they found out I wasn't the main name on the contract, whereupon they were just going to leave me stranded. Never rely on U-Haul's roadside assistance. They are worthless. At least in a rural area. So anyway, there I was, calling and texting whoever I could to try and get somebody to at least tell Mom what had happened, and that I was safe, and that I wasn't dead on the roadside, and that I was just waiting for the gas station to open. Called everyone I could think of. Nobody was able to help. So I resigned myself to sitting in the vehicle on the relentlessly hard and vertical seat of a U-Haul, unable or at least afraid to turn on the gas and, heat up the vehicle for fear of running out of gas and not being able to make the limp to the pump. That day was screwed and could not be unscrewed. Fortunately, I was able to lean on a lesson that I had learned years ago. I forget who first told it to me, but it's a useful one. Accept what is happening as if you'd chosen it yourself. And yeah, sometimes that sucks because you didn't choose it yourself, you didn't want this, you don't want it to be happening. But if you rail against what's already been created, you're not going to accomplish anything. All you'll do is spend mental energy on something that won't actually get you anywhere. You'll wind up bitter and frustrated and angry, and none of that will be conducive to actually getting you out of the situation. So accept what's happening as if you created it, or as if you chose it yourself, and then focus on creating what comes next. I couldn't change the situation I was in, but I could at least plan my next steps. I could park in a place where I was relatively safe, lock up so I'd be a bit safer. Thankfully, the moving guys had forgotten some of their blankets, so I could bundle up a bit, and I could wait for the gas station to open. So yeah, at least I'd managed to get to a place from which I could extricate myself at a later time. So 7 o'clock finally rolls around. By that time, my brain felt like an empty plastic container, no longer weighed down by weariness at least, and the sun helped wake me up. But there was not a lot going on in my head anymore. But I finally managed to get to the gas station, fuel up, go to the bathroom, get the first water I'd had in like 5 hours, and get back on the road. And there, I am on the road. I'm on my way back to the relatively navigable certainty of the #1 highway. I'm pretty much in the clear. And there, stretched across the highway, was a train. Okay, this might as well happen. So I sat there, parked, waited for the train to go away, and then finally made it back to Brandon to pick up Mom, who thankfully hadn't been too stressed. She'd figured maybe I'd stayed at the other house to sleep because I wasn't roadworthy, which I probably should have done. And as it turned out, the time when we needed to drop off the U-Haul was actually 9:30, and we just barely made it in time to avoid incurring late fees and ruining somebody else's day. So, lessons from that. Accept what's happening as if you chose it yourself, and remember that even if things seem absolutely screwed, sometimes it actually will turn out not as bad as you expected. So whether or not you worry and stress about it isn't going to change the outcome, it'll just change how much you suffer in the meantime. So I hope that helps you the next time you're in a day that's screwed and can't be unscrewed. And if what you're finding is currently screwed in your life is that you're trying to create something like a book or a coaching program, you're trying to turn your expertise into something that people can use to improve their lives, and it's just not going well, you're getting stuck, you're procrastinating, you're struggling, and you'd like somebody to make it easier and to help unscrew that situation for you, I'd love to help you out. I've written 14 novels. I know how it is to take a big chunk of information and break it down into an easy to follow flow. And I've also created coaching programs in as little as 1 month. So don't ask me for advice on how to back up trailers, but absolutely feel free to ask me for advice on how to quickly and easily turn your expertise into a book or signature coaching program. So if you found this helpful, or if you need further help, please by all means leave a comment under this video, or send me a DM if you're on social media. I'd love to hear from you. You can also reach me by email at stephanie@coachclientconnection.com. That's STEPHANIE@coachclientconnection.com. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I encourage you to reach out to me and to tune in for the next video in which I share more of my lessons from moving and how you can use them to grow your business. In the meantime, create a great day.